can be. One of the first shows I ever put up was how important it is to inspect your paint before you take your paint out of wherever it is that you're buying it from, okay? And hopefully that's from a local paintball store, okay? Most paintball stores do not have a problem with you before you buy a box of paint, opening it up and inspecting each one of the bags very carefully to make sure there's no broken paint, okay? The manufacturers, such as RP Sure and Draxis and stuff like that, Evil, you name it, most of them will give a credit back to the dealer for any broken paint that they have in the boxes of paint, okay? So which means that if they buy a skid of, let's say, 100 plus cases of paint, and 4 or 5 of them have broken paint in them, they will get a credit back on their next order. So always inspect your paint before you bring it out of the store. Now let's say, worst case scenario, you buy a bag of paint, or buy a box of paint, you take it home, and one of the bags has a break in it. I'm going to show you my way of cleaning the paint out. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to take our pair of pliers, grab a bag of paint, find a paintball, and then squeeze it, okay? And mush it around. Hopefully you can see, okay, the bottom of that bag is now soaked with paint because we took a pair of pliers and popped it, okay? Now the best thing that I can tell you to do is, first off, if you get to the field and you realize that one of your bags of paint does have that there's a mess in it, the best thing I can tell you to do is save this bag of paint until the very end of the day. Don't put it in your gun at the beginning of the day, okay? Because this is just going to cause your gun and cause your loader and everything just to be an absolute mess. So save the bag of paint until the very end of the day. This is typically what I do. First thing I do is I take the paint and with a pair of scissors, I cut the top, okay, all the way across. Then what I do is get a clean, dry towel that preferably has just been washed, doesn't have any dirt or anything on it, old towel, and take the paint and then pour it out over the table, okay? Now what you're going to want to do also, if this is the only bag that you have to store your paint in, usually what I do is I inspect the outside of it first and make sure that the outside of it is clean, and then what I do is I flip the bag inside out, okay? Now we can see all the mess that's on the back. Now what I do is I use the back side of the towel, not the side that I've got the paint on. Use the back side of the towel to clean the bag up as much as I possibly can, on the outside. This way it's not sticking on anything. Okay, now that the bag is clean, the inside, now we know the inside of the bag is clean. What we're going to want to do from here is to take the paint and spread it all out. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look for the broken balls or the balls that are either cracked or the shell or stuff like that. Okay, so here we go. Here's the one that we use the pliers to break. So let's go ahead and set that aside. I think here was another one that was in there broken already. Set that aside. Now what you're going to want to do is take the clean side of the towel and just start rubbing the paintballs and trying to wipe as much of the oil and as much of the paint off the outside of the paintballs. So take a clean towel, just start wiping them, and you can start to see, as you visually inspect the paintballs, you can actually start to see the paintball starting to clean up. So what we're doing right here is we're just wiping the outside of the paintballs down with a clean towel. And like I said, you don't want to use this paint early on in the day. You just want to set this bag of paint aside and use it towards the very, very last part of the day. Usually when people are kind of screwing around and just having a good time, you don't want to be cleaning your gun, 20 minutes after you just arrived to the field. So you want to look around, look for any other paintballs that are suspect, that are just really coated, that are not getting cleaned up. Okay, so it's starting to look pretty good. There's a couple more. Don't take any chances either with this. I mean, if this paint, if it does not look like it's cleaning up, just throw it out. Because even though it may feel like you're only, that you're wasting a paintball now, but you got to remember that the other 50 or 60 that you're going to shoot behind that broken one is just going to disintegrate anyway. So any paint that just looks like it's really coated, really, just in really bad shape, just set it, just set it aside. Don't take the chance of running it through the gun. Okay. So I think we got most of the suspect balls out of there. I mean, we can see, obviously this junk, trying to put this, this garbage through the gun's not going to shoot. So let's just go ahead and set that aside. And now, from what I can tell here, there's another one. what I can tell here, most of the paint that's here is going to be in pretty good shape. Then what I usually do is then just start taking it, gathering it up, and putting it into the bag, to use later on in the day. But like I said, you definitely want to make sure that you're not using this paint at the beginning of the day, or the rest of your day it's just going to be hell. So that's how I go through the paint if I do happen to have a bag. Now, me personally, it's worth the me. I just throw the bag out. I mean, that's usually what I do. I just take the entire bag of paint and throw it out. It's not worth the time that it's going to take me to clean out my loader, clean out my barrel, clean out my detents, clean out my eyes, remove my bolt, clean out my breech, clean out my raceway, the inside of my loader shells, my whole inside of the gun, and my barrel tip and barrel back, and all of that stuff, and the eyes and the electronics and the grip frame and all this stuff that's going to leak into it. It's just not worth it to me to risk having a barrel break. For me, I'll usually just throw the whole bag out if I see it, or bring it back to the store and tell them, hey, I bought this bag of paint, I took it home, and when I took a look at it, I inspected it. Then from here, just take a zip tie, wrap it around it, and that should be about it. So hopefully this helps maybe salvage some of this paint. Just inspect it before you take it home. Thanks for tuning in.